ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। So today, as you must have seen, we will be discussing one of the 6 orthodox systems of philosophy. So I'll just, to refresh your memory, I'll just show you the names of those 6 systems. So you can see here Shad Darshana, that is, Shad means 6, Darshana in Sanskrit means philosophy. So there are 6 systems, as we have seen before also, and out of these we can create 3 sets, because two systems of philosophy are connected with each other. I mean, each of these we can make 3 sets out of 2 philosophies connected with each other, which are similar. So here you can see in the diagram, if you draw a diagonal straight line from Nyaya to Vaisheshika, so these two are very similar. Then again, if you draw a straight line from Sankhya to below Yoga, these are very similar. Yoga is just practical Sankhya. And the last one, from Vedanta to Purva Mimamsa, if you can draw a line, so these two are also very closely connected. So we have already discussed briefly Nyaya and Vaisheshika, and we have discussed Sankhya and Yoga in quite some detail. So we are slowly approaching Vedanta. So only one remains before that, which we will start today. And I hope you have got some Tylenols, because a minor headache today and next week it will be a big headache. So this is the philosophy called Purva Mimamsa. Actually, Vedanta, another name for Vedanta is Uttar Mimamsa. So they are very similar. We will see how they are similar and also how they are different. So the Purva Mimamsa school, or also known as Mimamsa for short, it is the outcome of the ritualistic side of the Vedic culture. Vedas, you may be surprised to know, more than 90% of the Vedas is just ritual. It is all sacrifice. Do this, you will get that. So this philosophy is the outcome of the ritualistic side, just as Vedanta is the outcome of the speculative side. That is why Vedanta is called Jnana Kanda. That is, it is in the Jnana Kanda, means knowledge portion. And here this Mimamsa school, it focuses on the karma portion, that is the ritualistic side. So first, meaning. What is the meaning of Mimamsa? In Hindi and Bengali it is very simple, you all know. Mimamsa, to do Mimamsa of something means to solve some problem, some riddle by critical examination. If you are given some problem, then in Hindi we say uski Mimamsa karna, means what? Rationally analyze that. Rationally analyze and find a solution. So this is also Mimamsa. Here also we rationally analyze. What? What do we rationally analyze here? We analyze the Veda Vakyas, that is, what the Veda tries to tell, what the sentences of the Veda, how are they connected, what is their import, all these things. So Vedanta is Uttar Mimamsa. Vedanta also does the same thing. Mimamsa also does the same thing. But their conclusions are different. Mimamsa tells us that the aim of the Vedas is one, suppose A, but Vedanta says no. We agree with all your analysis, method of analysis and all, but we say that the ultimate goal is B. That is the only difference. Otherwise, they are very similar. So the subject matter of Purva Mimamsa philosophy is rituals or karma. That is why this philosophy is also called Karma Mimamsa. So Purva Mimamsa, Purva means before. You know, Uttar means that which comes afterwards. So this comes before. Rituals come before. Then comes inquiry. So Purva Mimamsa and Uttar Mimamsa. So it is said that the first work on this was written in about 200 BC. And who are the main proponents of this philosophy? I will just show you. Just share the image. As you have seen, this is the philosophy founded by Jaimini. Jaimini was a great sage. So here you can see clearly the founder was Jaimini. Of course, we have to understand that strictly there is no founder. These people, though it was prevalent before also, but those people who systemize the whole thing, bring it under some kind of systematic study, write the sutras in a regular order and all that, they are called the founders. It is not that ritualism or Purva Mimamsa was not there before Jaimini, not at all. It is not that Advaita Vedanta was not there before Shankaracharya, not at all. These people are called founders. Why? Because they systemize the whole thing. That is the thing. So here you can see Jaimini was the first person, and the sutras of Jaimini are still very much there. We are very lucky. Jaimini was even before Shankaracharya. Yeah. And there is a very detailed commentary on these sutras by, you can see the name, Shabara Swami. Shabara Swami. He was such a brilliant person. I mean, all these people were such great and brilliant person that without reading a little, we can never even imagine. Then after Shabara Swami came Kumarila Bhatta and Prabhakara. So we are only interested in Kumarila Bhatta and Prabhakara. After that, the other persons are not so well known and their writings are not really read. See, if you try to read Jaimini with Shabara Swami, Kumarila Bhatta and Prabhakara, your whole life will go. It is such a voluminous work. I mean, it is unbelievable what these people have done in one lifetime. So we have to, it is enough if we can know their names only. We need not go into more detail. So these names we should remember. Jaimini, on Jaimini Sutras, the commentary was written by Shabara Swami, which was elucidated by Kumarila Bhatta and Prabhakara. Kumarila Bhatta and Prabhakara, why they are mentioned separately? Because they differ on some minor points. So we are not much interested in those minor points. We will just study the general principles. So what is this philosophy all about? What is the Purva Mimamsa philosophy about? So Mimamsa, to rationally analyze, it comes from the root Sanskrit man, that is to think. So Mimamsa means rationally analyze and then come to a certain conclusion. So what does this philosophy do? It is a systemized code of principles in accordance with which the Vedic texts are to be interpreted for the purpose of sacrifice. So if some Vedic sentence is there, you can't understand the meaning. It is a very complex thing. So where are the rules? How to interpret some sentence? There may be 2 or 3 meanings. So go to Mimamsa. They will tell you how to interpret that sentence. So Vedic texts, we all know, they were used as mantras for sacrifices, and people often disputed as to the relation of words in a sentence or their relative importance. How to get the general drift of the sentence. And there was also a difference of view with regard to the meaning of a sentence and how that sentence, Vedic sentence, can be applied to a mantra. Then the relative importance or the exact nature of its connection with similar sentences. So all these problems are there when we try to interpret the Vedas. So what does Mimamsa do? Mimamsakas formulated some principles according to which one could arrive at a rational and uniform solution for all these difficulties. That is the main work. But it is a very well organized system of philosophy because it also deals with the nature of external world, soul, perception, inference, validity of the Vedas and the like. But their aim is only one. All this is done with only one aim, that human beings may perform sacrifices with the Vedic mantras. That is the thing. So the whole philosophy is formed with only one aim in view, to prepare a rational ground for its doctrine of the mantras and show how the Vedic mantras can be of practical utility for human beings. That is the thing. But it is very important. Why? Although it differs from Vedanta in this aspect, but it is very important because its principles and maxims for the interpretation of the import of the words and sentences used in the Vedas are very much valued even today. Without its help, you cannot understand the Vedas. It is impossible for an ordinary man. And we should also remember that Smritis, Manu Smriti and all that, which is called Hindu law, all of them accept without any reservation the laws laid down by Mimamsa philosophy in interpreting the sentences. So it is so important. It is one of the pillars of Indian philosophical systems. So I'll just share another image to make this point clear. So here you can see, in brief, I've just noted down what is the aim of this philosophy. First and foremost, it has only one aim: to help and support ritualism. Okay, now when you tell a person, if I tell a person, please perform these rituals of the Vedas. So first of all, I have to help him to understand the Vedas. Otherwise, how will he perform? So what does the philosophy do? First of all, point number 1, it gives a methodology of interpretation with the help of which the complicated Vedic injunctions may be understood, harmonized. There may be contradictory sentences. So it may be understood, harmonized, and then followed without any difficulty. This is the first work. Second work is, if we tell a person to do something, he will ask the reason. Why should I do it? You logically convince me. You say that when I give some oblations in a fire, I recite some mantras, you tell me I will go to heaven. How can I believe you? Hmm? What has heaven to do with all these things? You tell me. So, this also Mimamsakas do. Second point, by supplying a philosophical justification of the beliefs on which ritualism depends. They will show you why we are telling you to perform sacrifices and why you will get the results if you perform those sacrifices here. So everything is very well explained, and these are true. These actually are true. If you perform those sacrifices as mentioned in the Vedas, the results are sure to come in any age. There is no doubt about that. So anyway, this is the aim of the primary aim of this philosophy. Now, what is the faith which underlies this? What is the faith which underlies this Vedic ritualism? Why should we believe in that? What are the factors which make us believe in that? So this faith underlying our yagyas, all these sacrifices, consists of different elements. What are those elements? First of all, we have to believe in the existence of a soul which survives death. Because Mimamsaka says that if you perform a sacrifice for going to heaven, Swarga Kamo Yajeta. Swarga Kamo means one who desires Swarga or heaven should perform sacrifices. So I perform sacrifices, but I find I'm still here. So when do the sacrifices work? So Mimamsaka say it won't work while you are living.
That's obvious.
Yeah. And your body will not go to heaven. Your gross body will not go to heaven. Your soul will go to heaven. So first thing is what? You have to admit, believe that there is a soul which survives after death and enjoys the fruits of rituals in heaven. You have to believe that, otherwise there is of no use. If you think that everything ends with the body, then this philosophy has no use for you because the whole foundation is cut. This is the first thing. Then another thing will question if I perform a sacrifice today. So suppose I live 100 years. Now what is the connection between the sacrifice I perform today and 100 years till I die? How will it remain for so long that results? Like if I do a job today, and if my employer says you will get your salary after 10 years, I said I don't want that job. After 10 years you may not even recognize me. So here also same thing. I am doing something now. You tell me I will get results after I die. Not only that, nobody knows when I will die. I may live a long and healthy life. So what is the connection between these two? How will I get that result? So here Mimamsakas tell us that there is a power or potency which preserves the effects of the rituals you will perform. That power will be there. You don't worry. Your bank balance there in heaven is secure. There is something which connects that. This is the second thing. Third thing is, you say that all these rituals are mentioned in the Vedas. What are the Vedas? Why should I believe in them? So, this is the third point, that faith, why should we have faith, is the third point which we should believe in, the infallibility of the Vedas. That is the cornerstone not only of Mimamsa but most of the Indian systems of philosophy. That Vedas are infallible. They cannot be contradicted. There is no scope of arguments there. When they say something, some injunction, some rule, some result, it has to happen. So why should we consider them infallible? Again, they have explained. See, they don't make any statement without explaining that. They don't ask you to believe just blindly. There's a huge, all these huge books of philosophy, all these contains those rational grounds. Okay, but we have to start with some faith. That is the thing. So these three, first, we have to believe in the infallibility of the Vedas. Second, we have to believe in a soul which survives the death of our gross body. And we have to believe also that the work we do, the results may not come to us immediately, but they are sure to come. Actually, it is not so absurd, because the law of karma states the same thing. What does the law of karma state? If you do good, you will get good, but it may not be immediately. If you do some bad action, you are sure to get the result also. But again, it may not come immediately. So it is not something very absurd when Mimamsakas say that if you perform something, you will get result afterwards only. There is some connection. So these three we should remember. Like if you are, suppose, Buddhists, Jainas and Charvaks, all these don't believe in the Vedas. So naturally for them this has no value at all. Then many Upanishads, even the Gita, they say that ritualism is not the ultimate. So Mimamsakas are in contradiction with that. Mimamsakas say no, ritual is the ultimate goal of man. So Mimamsakas deal with all these objections and try to prove that all the Vedas, they try to prove that the whole of the Vedas without any exception teach us only one thing, that is karma. Karma here means what? Karma here means rituals, yagya. What is called yaga yagya. Okay. So this is the first thing to understand. The very first sutra of the Mimamsa Sutras, some of you are maybe familiar with the first sutras of the Brahma Sutras. Brahma Sutras are a Vedantic text. Like here, Mimamsa, they try to formulate the meaning of the Vedas. So Brahma Sutra, what does it do? Brahma Sutras tries to formulate the meaning of the Upanishads. So the very first sutra of Brahma Sutra is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Now let us inquire into the nature of Brahman. And what is the first sutra of the Mimamsa Sutra? Athato Dharma Jigyasa. See how similar these are. Now we will inquire into the nature of dharma. And what is dharma? How can it be known? See, without reading the original, you can never get that joy. They are so systematic. It is such a joy. Then second sutra, what does it say? What is dharma? We will inquire into dharma, but we have to define dharma. So dharma is that which is known by the means of the Vedas as being conducive to the highest good of human beings. So what is dharma first of all? Why should we inquire into it? First, the aim is to get the highest good. All of us are seeking that. But we are seeking it in other places where nobody has found that ultimate good. So now they say you will find the ultimate good where? In the knowledge which is given in the Vedas. That is the thing. So how systematically they go about? Now, why are the Vedas the only means? We will ask them. There are so many things: science, geography, astronomy. All these things are there, and most of the 99% haven't even heard of the what are the Vedas. So, do you mean to say that they won't come to the highest good? Why are Vedas the only means? Why do you say that the Vedas only means of getting to know of the highest good of man? So again, they have a rational answer. They say that this dharma about which we are talking about, it is not perceptible by the sense organs. All other things, history, geography, astronomy, whatever you do, we take the help of sense organs only. Sense organs perceive those things which we deal on those sciences, either through microscope or telescope or whatever, but organs perceive them. But here, dharma is not perceived by the senses. So how will your physics, chemistry, geography help in that? So they say, Mimamsakas say, that dharma is known only by means of words. Okay, so when Sri Ramakrishna tells us something, Vivekananda tells us something, Sri Ramakrishna says that God is Satchidananda or consciousness lies everywhere. How do you know that? There is no book on history, geography, chemistry which tells you that. So, first of all, our only source is what? Belief. Belief in the words. Because unless we are very, very highly spiritual and we get some person like Ramakrishna who can touch us and give us that realization immediately, unless we have that capacity, it will be a long time before we can actually realize. So, first of all, what is the source of belief? The only source is the words, but not the words of any Tom, Dick, and Harry. Words of some qualified person only we can believe. That is called a pramana. Pramana means that is a valid means of knowledge. So, this is one thing that Ramakrishna will tell us, or Jesus will tell us, Buddha will tell us, we will believe. But another source is there. What is there? The scriptures. And what are the scriptures? Scriptures are the Vedas, according to Mimamsaka. This is the thing. So, dharma being something not perceptible by the senses, it can only be known by means of words. And these words, to be entirely reliable, should proceed from a very, very reliable human source. Or it should proceed from something which is not created by any human being. What is that something? That something is the Vedas. So, Vedas, according to the Mimamsakas, is not written by any human being at all. So, when a human being tells us something, a human being can have defects. So, if he tells us something, those defects may be carried over to his speech. But if something has not been created by human beings at all, it has not been created by God also, according to the Mimamsakas. It is uncreated. Vedas are eternal. Something which is eternal is not created. So, when something is there in the Vedas, there is absolutely no ground for disbelief. That is the thing. So, these are very, very foreign concepts, but when we keep on thinking about them, slowly, slowly we'll get used to this. The first question will arise in our minds, what do you mean? Somebody must have written down the Vedas. So what do you mean that it is not the creation of human beings? They say yes, Vedas were revealed to that person who wrote them down. It was not created by that person. Another person to whom the Vedas will be revealed will write the same thing. Because he does not create the Vedas. The Vedas reveal themselves to him because of his pure mind. And these persons are called rishis. So who is a rishi? He is not a mantra srashta. He is not one who makes the mantras. He is a mantra drashta. Drashta means seer. So these rishis who are the seers of mantra, they have put down the Vedas in writing, but they have not created the Vedas. So first sutra we have seen is Athato Dharma Jigyasa. Now what is Dharma? We have to have a very clear idea, because this is the whole aim of the Mimamsa philosophy, to tell us what is Dharma and how to achieve that Dharma. So again I will share an image in a very concise form. It is given here. You can see here. So Dharma as understood by Mimamsa can be loosely translated as English virtue, morality, duty, etc. But it is the set of ritual obligations and prerogatives that, if properly performed, maintains the harmony of the world and furthers the personal well-being of the person who performs them. So dharma is defined as a command or injunction which compels people to action. It's a command by the Vedas, do this. You have no option. You have to do this. So dharma is revealed only by the Vedas. So it consists in the commands of the Vedas, and action is the final import. This is where Mimamsa differs from Vedanta. Vedanta says we agree with everything. Vedas are eternal. Vedas cannot be contradicted. Everything we agree with. But we disagree with you here only. You say that the final import of the Vedas is only karma. We say no. The final import is gaining knowledge, jnana. So this is the one primary difference between Vedanta, and actually this is the only real major difference. Otherwise, they agree with most of the things. So dharma is not something which exists by itself. It has to be manufactured. If you don't do anything, if you don't do any rituals, heaven is not waiting for you. You have to manufacture that heaven by your rituals to gain admittance to that heaven. It may be there, we don't know, but there will be a no admittance sign if you go there without doing anything of the rituals mentioned in the Vedas. So dharma can only be produced by acting in accordance to the injunction of the Vedas. That is the thing. Every action has to have an effect. There can be no action which does not bring result. The only exception being the action performed by a God-realized person. His actions have no result because he knows that he is not doing anything. That is the thing. But otherwise, action has to have an effect or consequence. An action performed during earthly life produces a power. What is that power? That is called, in technical terms, it is called apurva. So when that apurva when the time comes for that power to give result, it will give the result. That is we'll go into all that. So this is what is the meaning of dharma according to the Mimamsakas, that is the philosophy of Purva Mimamsa. Now the next thing. we already have studied the theory of knowledge, or what is called epistemology in philosophy. Epistemology means what? It is the question, it is the answer to the question how we know. How we know, how do we gain knowledge? And hundreds of books have been written on that. It is amazing. I mean, a normal person will never even think, what do you mean, how do we know? We just know. But how these people have gone so deep in both Eastern and Western philosophy, this has been dealt with in so much detail. So just to refresh your memory, I will just show you this what we had studied earlier. Not this one bit. Yeah. So this image I will just share. So, how we know, that is, what are the methods of knowledge? So, we have discussed long time ago, maybe it is not so fresh to you now. So, we have already seen that there are 6 ways according to Vedanta in which we gain knowledge. The 6 ways are given on the left side, you can see. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi and Shabda. And on the right side, I had made this chart so that we know which school believes in which. All the schools do not accept these 6. So number 6, if you go, you can see there, Purva Mimamsa. Out of these 6, in which all does Purva Mimamsa believe in, accept? So as we have seen today, Prabhakar and Kumarila, they were all both Mimamsakas, but they differed in some slight way. One of those ways was Kumarila Bhatta accepts all these 6 methods of knowledge, like Vedanta. But Prabhakara only accepts 5 of them. That is direct cognition, inference, verbal testimony, comparison, and postulation. It does not accept non-apprehension or anupalabdhi as a valid means of knowledge. Vedanta says that if I don't see something at some place, that is also a method of knowledge. But they say no, if you don't see something, how can you gain knowledge from that? There's a huge argument about that, but of course we won't go into all that now. So the main thing which we want to discuss here is, out of these 6 methods of knowledge, don't worry, we will not discuss all the 6. We will discuss only one. What is that one? The last one, Shabda. Because as we had seen just now, the Mimamsakas say that dharma can only be known by this pramana, that this method of knowledge only, verbal testimony. Because dharma you cannot see with your eyes, cannot smell with your nose, cannot hear with your ears. How do you know about that? Only if the Vedas tell you. So the words of the Vedas are the only source of dharma, as we have seen, according to the Mimamsakas. So now, to justify their conclusion, they have to prove that this verbal testimony of which the Vedanta is, of the Vedas which the source is, it is infallible. They have to prove, no. Otherwise, there will be a loophole in their philosophy. So you say that I should blindly follow from the Vedas, but you don't tell me, you don't prove to me that the Vedas can never be wrong. Then how will I follow? So that is why Mimamsakas lay the greatest stress on this method of knowledge. The last one, which is called verbal testimony or Shabda Pramana. Verbal testimony is accepted by nearly all the schools, except Charvaka, which actually cannot be called a school at all. You can see from the right side that nearly all the schools of philosophy accept verbal testimony. But the Mimamsakas lay great stress on that because their whole philosophy is based on this only, that Vedas are the only source of dharma and they are infallible, they cannot be wrong. This is the groundwork of the whole Mimamsa philosophy. So they have to go into great detail about this method of knowledge. What? Which is Shabda, verbal testimony. Okay. So now let us go a little into that. Next time we will go into more detail. So an intelligible sentence yields knowledge. Okay. If we read a sentence, we will gain some knowledge. We will know about something from that sentence. Sentence has some meaning. That meaning will be conveyed to us. From that we will gain some knowledge. So now that sentence only should be the statement of a reliable person if I am to gain knowledge from that. Otherwise, if we know somebody is in the habit of telling untruths, somebody comes to us, tells us something, we tell our friend, oh, Mr. X had told that. Our friend knows Mr. X. He will tell, oh, don't believe him. It is his habit to talk nonsense. So, if the sentence is to yield meaning, it has to come from a reliable person. That is called Apta Vakya, the statement of a reliable person. So, now there are two kinds of verbal authority. First, it can come from a reliable person. Secondly, it can be completely impersonal. That is called apurusheya, not from any purusha, not from any human being at all. So the first one, which comes from a human being, it consists of written testimony or spoken testimony of some person. And the second, which is apurusheya, denotes the authority of the Vedas. That is the thing. Now, that statement can be of two kinds. See how the analysis is going deeper. That statement can be of two kinds. First, about the existence of something. A person tells me, go 10 miles, dig and you will find gold. So, here both the things are told. First, the existence about the gold, and also that we should act. If the sentence is just, see, there is a chair in front of you, that has only one import, that the existence of the chair has been notified to me. But if he tells me, go and sit on that chair, then what? Then it means it is telling us to act in some way. So these are the two types of verbal testimonies. First, which tell us about the existence of something, it is called Siddhartha Vakya, or another which tells us to perform some action. That is called in Sanskrit Vidhayaka Vakya. Now, two things are there. First of all, Mimamsa is mainly interested only in the impersonal verbal testimony, that is the Vedas. Because verbal testimony which comes from any human being can have a very, very slight chance that it may not be infallible. So Mimamsakas say that Vedas are only 100% infallible. So this is the first thing. And impersonal authority of the Vedas, it admits that also because the Vedas give directions for performing sacrifices. So, two things. Mimamsakas say the Vedas are the only source of valid knowledge. First thing. Second, what is the only import of the Vedas? To perform sacrifices and get the results. This is the thing. So, according to the Mimamsakas, Vedas are a book of commandments. Do this, don't do that. This is the thing. So, Mimamsakas also hold that as the sole use of the Vedas lies in these sacrifices, rituals, any part of them which does not give such direction is useless unless it can indirectly show the way to ritualism. So, what the Mimamsakas say is, directly or indirectly, the whole of the Vedas tell us to do nothing but perform actions, and those actions are primarily rituals, yaga yajna. That is the thing. So Mimamsakas, the attempt is constantly made to show that all the sentences of the Vedas, which even regarding soul, immortality, etc., all these are indirectly connected with some command that is called injunction. Otherwise, they say it will have no meaning, because the whole of the Vedas, there is only one aim, to tell us how to perform these rituals. That is the thing. This is the main thing we have to understand. Of course, here the Vedanta does not agree. They say that yes, like you, we fully agree that the Vedas are infallible. The Vedas are aparushya, they have not been created, they are eternal. But where we differ is when you say that the only aim of the Vedas is to teach us rituals, karma. We say no. The Vedas teach us rituals, correct, but that is only a stepping stone. We should not stop with that. We should go higher. Those rituals are not an end in themselves. According to Vedanta, those rituals will be useless if they do not lead to knowledge. That is the thing. So, jnana is the import of the Vedas according to the Advaitins, the Vedantists, and karma is the import of the Vedas according to the Mimamsakas. That is the thing. So, now these are the main points. Now we will start going into a little detail. First of all, about the Vedas, then we will stop today. So, according to the Mimamsakas and even according to the Vedantis, the Vedas are not the work of any person, either human or divine. That is why the authority of the Vedas is said to be impersonal. It is not that I have to accept something. Why? Because this and that person has said. I have to accept Jesus, what has been said by Jesus. Why? Because Jesus has said that. I have to accept Buddha's statement. I have to accept Ramakrishna's statement. Why? Because they have said that. But here, Vedas are completely impersonal. No, this person or that person is connected here. They are completely impersonal. And when we say that some Rishi has said that, it is not that the Rishi has told from his own mind. He has only written down what has been revealed to him. Now, elaborate arguments are advanced to support this view that no author can be there of the Vedas. Then we say that this mantra is in the name of that Rishi, this mantra is in the name of that Rishi. What does it mean? Like the Gayatri mantra, it is said to be associated with Rishi Vishwamitra. So we will say, then what does it mean? You say you also agree that Rishi Vishwamitra is associated with this mantra. So Mimamsakas will say this does not mean that Vishwamitra has written this mantra. He just saw the mantra, which was always, saw means not with his eyes. Saw means in his spiritual vision. So these seers, those who have expounded, they are not the authors. They are only the seers. So these many arguments are there. If you read the original sutras, you can see. But the most important argument which they place before us to support that there can be no author of the Vedas is that it will come as a very big surprise to all of you. Their theory that a word, when we hear a word sound heard, it is only the perceptible sign of the real word which is behind it and which is eternal. This is extremely difficult to understand. When we say, but they will prove it. It's a very interesting proof. So what do they say when I say something, when I utter a word? We think that what? The word has been uttered. After the utterance is finished, the word has gone. So word is produced and word ends. But they say no. The word has not been produced, nor can it end. The word is eternal. Word is eternal. But then why do we see that the word has been spoken and again it has ended? They say only the manifestation of the word began and it ended. But the real word was behind this manifestation always. And it will always be there. That is the thing. Spoken word is not the real word. The real word lies behind the spoken word. Now, how can this be? We will all object with one voice. What are you telling? You are asking to believe in anything. Word is eternal and all that thing. So very simple explanation they have given. Of course, there are many arguments, but just one argument we can try to examine. Suppose all of us who are present here, we pronounce one word, cow. C-O-W, cow. Okay? He says cow, he says cow, he says cow, I say cow, everybody says cow. Now, we have spoken the same word or different word? Tell me. Same or different? Same. Yes. We have spoken the same word. But the way in which Harbansji will tell cow and the way in which Anilji will tell cow, is it the same? It is not the same. They are different. Is it not? Why? If they are different, how can you say it is the same word? Where lies the unity? See how we have never even thought along those lines. We all agree that if all of us present here say cow, it is the same word. But they are all different because the way in which I say cow will be different from the way in which you say cow. So where lies the unity? If there was no unity, we could not say that the same word has been spoken 10 times or 20 times. So though we must admit then that the real word cow, which is admitted to be the same, though uttered by different person in different ways, is not produced by the pronunciation, but only revealed by the pronunciation. You cannot deny this. If it was produced by, when I say cow, if I produce that word, if another person says cow, he produces that word, then how can you say that we have uttered the same word?
I don't get it.
You say cow,
Yeah.
I say cow.
Yeah. So
Now Anjali ji will tell that we have uttered the same word. Is it not?
yeah.
But the way in which you say cow cannot be exactly similar to the way in which I say cow. Can it be exactly similar?
It's just the voice.
Voice, intonation, whatever. It cannot be exactly the same. You say one word, I say the same word. Can it be exactly the same in which the way in which we say it? No. But if you ask someone, they will say, you have also said the same word, I have also said the same word. If we have not said that one word in different ways, if we say those words were uttered in different ways, so why do we say that the same word was uttered by you and me? Where lies the unity? Answer that question. Where lies the unity?
I don't know.
Yeah, they tell you. We don't know, but they will tell you. They will say that this word which you have uttered, you have not created. You have not produced the word cow. If you had produced it, your produce would be different, my produce would be different. Then how could a third person say that you have said the same thing as he has done? How could you say? This means that we have not produced the word cow, but only revealed the word cow. So a person says, yes, he is also revealing the same thing, although he is revealing in a different way. If you say that he has produced the word cow and I have produced the word cow, how can we say that we have said the same thing? So unless we take different pronunciations of a word as only vocal representations of one identical basic word, all of them cannot convey the same meaning. How can they convey the same meaning? When you say cow, I also think of an animal with 4 legs and all that, which gives milk and all that. You say cow, that image comes in my mind. I say cow, that image comes in your mind. So what does it show? This shows that when we say cow, this is only a vocal representation of one identical word which lies behind that. And that identical word conveys the meaning to us through the vocal representation. So the real word is therefore not produced by the speakers, but only manifested by their speech. So the real word is eternal. In the Bible, what it is said? In the beginning there was the Word.
And the Word was God.
So all these can be understood so well by when we connect these things. So therefore now when the Word is eternal, therefore the relation between the Word and its meaning is also eternal. That is the Vedas. The Vedas consists of such eternal words, and something which is eternal cannot be created. See, it is unbelievable. I mean, see their philosophy, this rational inquiry. This is just a one, I've just given you a glimpse. Next time when you come with Tylenol, I'll give you something more. Yeah. So I think this is enough for today.
Yes, for
Yeah, I think headaches must be just starting. So before they go further, we should stop them. So I will stop here, but many things are yet to come. Of course, if we go into detail, then it will take 10 years to just to study this philosophy. Yeah. So let us stop here for the time being. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Paramastu.